So the question is this: how do thought leaders, school dropouts, former and current students find out what's next after they do or don't cross that stage? If you want to know the secrets to starting the career or business of your dreams, getting paid whatever you desire, and discovering what you do the best with the least amount of effort, then this is the right podcast for you. I'm Shawn Anthony, and this is School's Over, Now What? The podcast. Welcome back to School's Over, Now What? The podcast. And guys, this is it. This is the last episode of 2018. I cannot believe I just said that, guys. We kicked off this podcast back in June, and for the past few months, we have been lighting it up each and every single week, each and every single Friday, consistently producing content that has changed and impacted so many current and former students. And for that, I am absolutely grateful. So if you're listening right now and you've been with us since the first episode, or since the second episode, or since your favorite celebrity or influencer has hopped on the show, get ready for 2019. But before we jump to 2019, I wanted to do something special, something different than any of our other episodes. And I wanted to feature the best of the best from 2018. What I mean by that is, guys, we are about to give you the top responses we received from the question that we asked every single person that has been on this show and has been on this podcast. And that question is, if you are a current or former student, or someone who just even dropped out of school and you were stuck and you were asking yourself the question of the podcast, school's over, now what? What advice would you give? Get ready, buckle up. This is going to be an episode you're going to want to repeatedly, constantly play. Guys, this episode features some multi-millionaires, celebrities, brand influencers, and others who, without a doubt, have lit this show on fire. What I like so much about doing this show is the people and the many lives it has just touched. This show has helped entrepreneurial-minded individuals start the business of their dreams. It has allowed for people to look at what they're doing and understanding that, hey, there's some commonalities in this person's story that relates to me, and now I know what I need to do next. It has helped people show up and get their message and get their brand out there and truly show up as their true, genuine self. And it's just been amazing. And if you want to know more, if you want to figure out, okay, how do I take my business to the next level, go further in my career, and get the opportunities that I deserve, then check out schoolsovernowwhat.com/academy. We created this just for you. And the coaching that we have provided through this academy has helped people in tremendous ways go further and even further to heights they can only even dream of. With that being said, guys, every single episode, I love to talk about the review of the week, because this show will be absolutely nothing without you. And so with that being said, the review of the week comes from Nancy. This podcast is marvelous. I love every episode that I listened to thus far. Continue to give great work. Blessings to you. Nancy, I appreciate you. And for those of you who have left your ratings and left your reviews all year long, you have helped take this message to a broader audience and rise on the iTunes charts. So if you're listening right now and you haven't done that yet, please take a moment and do so. All right, guys, with that being said, let's get to the reason that you came here today. Episode 31. 2018 Best of the Podcast. So here's the question that I want to ask, because this is the question we ask every single person that gets on this podcast, okay? So if you were that student, right? If you were that person who used to go to college, whether you're a current student or former student or dropped out, and you were asking yourselves the question of the podcast, school's over, now what? What advice would Jasmine Star give?
Run, don't look back, and know with every fiber of your being that it is going to be okay. I think that I have spent half of my life wondering, will I be okay? Will it be okay? What will happen if I can go back and tell myself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if I could tell my 5-year-old self, I would lean over and I would whisper to her after college, after elementary, after junior high, I'd say, it's going to be okay. Just run and run fast and don't look back.
And we are here with none other than the man himself, Michael Bonner. Here's the question we ask every single person that's been on this podcast.
That's a beautiful question to ask yourself. Self-reflection is probably one of the most powerful tools that we'll ever have access to. It's also referred to as metacognition in psychology, thinking about how one thinks, right? So
yeah.
If you are that person right now, you have the amazing opportunity to look at your situation and figure out, what do I love? What am I passionate about? If you don't know, this is the perfect time to go out and travel, experience, work to find out and connect and network with people to see what makes you happy. What do you stay up at night thinking about? What do you dream about? And I think once individuals actually do that, they will begin to see a light sort of go off inside of them. If you know what your passion and stuff is, you got to be hitting the ground running every single day. I am grateful for the platform that I have, but there are thousands of other teachers who are speakers who are out here trying to make an impact and trying to do the best to provide for their family and for their students. So even if you know your passion, you can't be stagnant within your purpose. You have to get up and move. So if you are at that crossroads, take the time to evaluate where you're trying to go and what are you trying to do. And once you figure that out, hit the ground running and work.
Man.
Work. Everything looks beautiful on social media. You know, you go on my page right now, there's beautiful professional pictures, and you see my kids smiling, and you see the beautiful videography that is done by my friend Gerard, seeing one in my classroom and the parties I'm throwing for the kids and the sponsorships and things that I have. But what people do not see, and you know, Shawn, is how much I'm in the air.
Yeah.
How many connecting flights I have to catch, how many hours I have to drive after I land, how I have to worry about delays, how I have to catch red eyes from California back to North Carolina so I can teach and be in school the next day. So once you figure out your passion, there's a work aspect that comes along with it if you're truly trying to make an impact. If you want to be mediocre, you can just coast and just be average. But if you want to be spectacular and build a legacy, you find your passion identified and work your butt off.
I'm here, guys, with the legend himself, Chris Drama. What advice could we get from Drama?
I would say now it's time to get in the game. And I think, you know, the way we go through that process is we go through school, we try to do well because we want the outcome, right? We want the outcome to be good.
Yeah.
Maybe we go to a good college because we did well in high school, and we do really well because we want the outcome to be good. And I think that sometimes what happens to people is you come out of college or of, you know, your high school or whatever, and you're kind of waiting for the outcome because you've done everything right. You worked hard. You got it done. Now what? Exactly the question. And I think now what the answer to that, and it might be a little hard to swallow at first, but I'll tell you, like, it's really fun once you get going, is now the game starts. Now it's time to actually apply it. And now it's time to, you have no rules now. You don't have a time to be at class. You don't have a curriculum. You don't have notes to study. You don't have a test to do at the end of the week. Now it's time to really get out there, apply yourself, try your ideas, learn as much as you can, look stupid, have big wins, have big losses, and enjoy what life really is and what entrepreneurship really is, or what, you know, being a CEO or a business lead, whatever it is you want to do. Now's the time to really get out there and do it. And I think you got to do it. You got to have fun, and you got to be doing every single day.
I am here with this guy. He's been everywhere. You've seen him on every social media platform. The man himself, Gerard Adams. So Gerard, I want to ask you a question that we ask every single person that has been on this podcast. And that is, what advice would you give that current or former student that, you know, that's asking themselves the question of this show? School's over, now what? What advice would you give?
The advice I would give you is, first of all, I just want to say congratulations, because that's a huge accomplishment that many people don't get to have. And for a lot of families, you may be the first one who graduated and got that degree for your family. A lot of times we get these degrees, not so much because, we're getting it's going to position us for the dream job of our lives. It's because we're doing it in honor of our family, because we want to make them proud. And also statistically, it does put you position you statistically better, to have financial security in your life. So school does do that. But I would tell you that now that you got done, I would tell you to dream big and take a big risk on your life, because you had that degree. A lot of people do that because they want to fall back on it. But I would tell you, what is the thing that, forget about now that you have the degree, what is the industry that excites you the most, that regardless of how much money you would be making, that it lights you up, that you feel inside like it's gonna actually allow you to contribute to the world? What is that? What is that thing that you're actually, and also that it aligns with you, that self-awareness, that it aligns with you, that you're good at it, you're great at, whether it's something creative and artistic, or maybe it's more finance related, or maybe it's, more in the health space, you're good at helping people, maybe it's, find what you're good at doing that comes natural to you, and then find an industry that you want to contribute to. And I use contribution more than passion. It's something that you feel that you can actually add value to that industry and into that business or that company, that will allow to make you feel fulfillment, that'll make you feel like you're adding a contribution to the world. Find that. And sometimes it takes some time. You may need to, kind of whiteboard this out and think about the pros and cons, and think about what are the companies in the world that are doing work that you admire, and maybe you want to work with one of those companies, or maybe you want to find something, look at the similarities to the companies you admire that are doing great work in the world, and you want to come up with your own idea on how to do it differently and how to maybe solve a problem a little differently yourself. Don't be afraid to take a chance and go become an entrepreneur. Just because you have a degree, no reason why you can't start now and take a shot at being a business owner, and the biggest thing I would tell you, last but not least, is that education doesn't stop. Just because you graduated from college, it's just the world. You have to look at the world as a teacher. I learned the most from traveling. So I would tell you, travel the world, learn about new cultures, learn about history of humanity, history of all, African-American history, Indian history. I just came back from Egypt and saw the pyramids. I was posting about that. Go and learn about history, go learn about new cultures, go and meet people, get out there into the world, because the world will teach you a lot. Go out there and travel, and look to realize that every single person you can learn from. I always say that, everybody has a story. So build relationships, because those connections, those relationships are what is more valuable than anything else in the world, and will lead you to your destiny.
I am here with the one and only Mahisha Dellinger. What advice would you give that person who is either in school currently right now, or whether they dropped out and they're a former college student, that was asking themselves the question of this podcast: school's over, now what? What advice would Mahisha Dellinger give for that person?
Come correct, 110%. There are so many people that want your space, that want to be where you are or what you want to have. So you have a very competitive landscape in front of you. So you have to work harder than the person to your left and your right. I think P. Diddy said, and a few others have said, you will never outwork me. And it's not about always how smart you are, it's how hard you work. So get ready, strap those boots up, and get ready to get knee deep in work if you want to succeed. And you can't be passive. Listen, passiveness will get you nowhere. You gotta go hard for what you want. And that doesn't mean do anything unethically or taking advantage of anyone. I'm not a fan of doing either of those, because I believe in karma and getting what you put, reaping what you sow. But that you can still be aggressive, assertive, and intentional about your goals, and that's what it's going to require for you to just make it past the person to your left and your right. So go for it, go hard, and work harder than the person to your left and your right.
Hey, man.
Ryan, man, how's it going, man? This is Shawn Anthony with the School's Over Now with podcast. So, what 2 tips? What kind of sneak preview? What can you give the listeners, especially those guys that are currently asking themselves, "School's over, now what?" What gems can you give us from that book?
So the book is, I wrote it for people in that position. Honestly, it is that, because that was me. I graduated college, thought I was going to do one thing, but then it didn't work out. So now what? And I got my real estate license, figured out how to sell real estate, and just started doing it. Had some luck along the way and a lot of hard work. I didn't take a day off for the first 3 years. And so the book is for people that want to make extra money, either by making a sales job their career and doing that 24/7, or making it a side hustle. You know, if you have a full-time job or you're a student and you want to make a little extra cash, this is the book that's going to tell you how to do that. And for those who really, really, really love the idea of supplementing their income or making a lifestyle for themselves that they didn't even think was possible based on where they grew up, who their families are, what kind of schools they went to, they thought that maybe this kind of money was never even in the cards for them. You learn how to sell, you create your own destiny moving forward. And that's what this book is for.
Ladies and gentlemen, Malcolm MJ Harris is on the show today.
School's over now. What? Well, school's over now. What? My first piece of advice is make sure you get some income. Right. That's very, very, very important. I think that one of the things we've got to realize, and this is especially important for millennials, because I think that this message has been given to millennials a lot, is that there's something flawed about the message that you have to become extremely successful and maybe even become a millionaire in your 20s. That is very, very, very rare. The reality is that, we admire people like Oprah Winfrey. She was well into her 30s by the time she started having real sizable success within her life. The reality is that in her 20s, she was bouncing around from networks and trying to figure out how to get her life going from that particular perspective. Same with me. When I started out, in my 20s, I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. It wasn't until I was in my late 20s that I even had the idea to start my business. And it took almost until when I was 30 for us to start making real money. So if you're just getting out of school, my first piece of recommendation is to get a job. Okay. This job don't have to be your career. Don't pontificate. Well, I don't know how it's going to contribute to my goals. It don't matter. If you can find something that connects into your long-term goals, then that's fabulous. If not, find a job that pays you very well, okay? And you go into that job, but you don't think of it as a career. You don't think of it as something that you're going to retire from. You think of it as a place to earn money, okay? Because at the end of the day, every dream you have costs $1 in order to make that thing a reality, okay? So you need cash. You need cash. You need cash. And the best way to get cash is to get a job or get some kind of consistent income stream. And then what you do is you live on as little of that money as possible. If you got to stay at home with your parents in the basement because they done turned your bedroom into an office and you stay in that doggone basement, okay, and you save money. If you got to get roommates, then you get a roommate, all right? Save money, save money, save money. You're not just saving for the fun of it. You're saving because when you're ready to start that business, you having capital, your own money, is going to come in handy. Let me tell you, the biggest contributor to a new business's longevity that'll determine if it will survive or if it will fail is one thing: capital. Do you have enough money to invest in creating this thing and to weather through the period of time until you start making money? So that's why I say get a job, spend as little money as possible, save that money, and then use that money that you're saving to then invest in yourself and create your business.
Valuable advice, guys. You just got some of the most valuable advice we've gotten from any guest on our show. what you think. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to know what you learned. So if you wouldn't mind, would you take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast on your phone right now? Upload to your Instagram stories, tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _, and then let me know in that Instagram story what is one thing that you learned. I love hearing from you, my listeners, thought leaders, former or current students all around the world. Let me know, and while you're doing this, go inside the podcast app, subscribe, leave a 5-star review and a 5-star rating. Again, this helps us reach more people. And if you want to be a part of this mission, helping us change the world one person at a time, it makes a massive difference by you leaving a review. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. And remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.